Whew. Sure is a gorgeous little creek, huh? Right smack dab in the middle of an old growth rainforest during a rainstorm, which gives us a really great look at how the complexity of these forest ecosystems works in tandem with the stream channel here to create healthy flow patterns that provides ecological function while also creating habitat for freshwater species. See, as the rain falls, all of the complexity of the forest around me here, from the trees, the mosses, the shrubs, and the understory, work to slow the rate at which water finds its way to the stream, which helps control the rate at which it flows through the watershed. Then, when the creek swells during heavy rain events like this one here, the water line rises, overflowing the channel and pouring into the surrounding riparian floodplains. Now, the different undulating topography, down logs, and root structures of the forest that hold the soils together here create obstacles in the flow path that slow the flow of the river while reducing erosion and sedimentation of the stream. Now, normally, the edge of the creek is right about here where I'm standing, but you can see how when the creek has swelled, its edges push way further back into the surrounding forest here. If it wasn't for this riparian flood buffer, the stream velocity would be too great for the juvenile salmonids that rear here, and they would all be flushed out. But as the waters rise and swell into the surrounding forest here, all that complexity in the forest provides backwaters and eddies and resting spots for all these small fish so they can weather the storm literally and survive until the floodwaters recede into the normal channel here. Now, this complexity allows them to survive so they can grow big and strong, head out to the oceans, and return a few years later as adults to spawn, bringing with them nutrients from the oceans that the surrounding forest here needs to grow as big and robust as they are to perform all of this ecological function. Essentially, the forest here works to provide the habitat the fish need to thrive, and then the fish provide the nutrients to the forest that it needs to thrive. In second growth forests that have been logged to the banks of the creeks, and even small tributaries, as was very common up until not very long ago, these riparian floodplains lack that same topography and root structure and are no longer functional. So when heavy rain events like this do occur, it often results in water moving through the system very quickly, creating very flashy flows, erosion, and sedimentation of the stream, which over time creates a wider, shallow stream channel that lacks habitat for these fish, and then the forest suffers in the long term from a lack of nutrients. This is just a great example of the myriad of ways that forest ecosystems have evolved within their respective niches around the world to perform ecological functions unique to the weather patterns and climate of the lands on which they thrive, that in turn allows for all these other species here to thrive. Everything is connected, and the more diverse and functional forest ecosystems and riparian floodplains we can create through proper stewardship, then the more adapted and resilient these ecosystems can be in a changing climate to create a better future for all who live amongst them, ourselves included.